This Soonerscoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. Don't miss a moment on or off the field. Make every day a highlight with LASIK at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIK.
Hello and welcome back. Eddie Radosevich, George Stoya here on a Tuesday morning. We talked to a number of players on Monday. We talked to Bill Beatenbow as well. You can catch the kind of the breakdown with everything that we talked about with the offensive line. Michael Fasusi, Ryan Foje. Certainly sounds like they are playing well here during the early portions of camp. Welcome back to the William and Lauren Practice Report. Our good friends over at William and Lauren. We tell you about them almost every Monday usually around that time. But good to have them here for the entirety, for all the practice reports that we'll have throughout the season. And welcome back. It's Tuesday morning. Oklahoma back onto the practice field today, but a lot to kind of wrap up with from Monday. We talked to Deion Burks for the first time, it felt like since the spring, was it not?
I think the last time we spoke to him was in the spring because he was telling us about his decision to stay in Oklahoma.
Sure, stay at Oklahoma and certainly be a part of Ben Arbuckle's offense. He talked about that on Monday after practice, as well as Peyton Bowen. I think that we'll get into him today. He's really an interesting guy in the back end of that secondary because I do think that he's a former five-star guy that has battled some of those injuries, and certainly Danny Okoye. I talked to him on Monday as well. He's been a name to know. Miguel Chavis talked about him. What was that, last week?
Yep.
When we talked to Oklahoma's defensive end coach and just learning and trying to kind of wait for his time. Certainly seems like that time has come for him. But before we get to all of that, let us tell you about our good friends over at Poncho Outdoors. The weather has been lovely over the first couple of days to begin the week. And what we are going to tell you about, PonchoOutdoors.com. All you got to do is go to PonchoOutdoors.com/Soonerscoop for $10 off your first order. That is PONCHO Outdoors.com/Soonerscoop for $10 off. I know that Josh already has gotten his box. Carrie's gotten his stuff. My stuff came in on Monday. I love it. Soft right out of the box, lightweight, breathes incredibly well. If you're going outdoors, if you're going to a backyard barbecue, tailgating season right around the corner, you're going to need some of those breathable shirt options for the upcoming August and September months, Georgie.
Yes, it's the perfect time to wear poncho right now.
There's no doubt about that. Got the hidden zipper pocket. You can put your phone in. UPF 50 sun protection as well. And maybe best of all, free shipping and returns as well as exchange. We're going to get it right the first time. All you got to do is go to PonchoOutdoors.com/Soonerscoop for $10 off. All right, let's get into a little bit of what Oklahoma players had to say on Monday. And let's start with Deion Burks because I think that it feels like he's been here for a while, but at the same time, we really haven't seen a whole lot of Deion Burks on the field.
Yeah, no, and I think he got a little nicked up in the first few practices, but he's been back out there. Sounds like he's making a lot of plays. OU's put out some clips of him making some very competitive catches, but I'm excited to see what he can do, Eddie, because I think we saw little glimpses last year before he had the injury bug, but he's somebody that in Ben Arbuckle's offense, you just have to imagine they're going to get creative with him, get him the ball in space, let him make some big plays, and it certainly sounds like he's become, him and Isaiah Satania, I would say, have become Mateer's top targets so
Certainly
far.
Two outlets for John Mateer. Here is Deion Burks talking about just kind of getting familiarized with the offense coming out of the spring, and then obviously the beginning of the preseason practices and how he thinks things are going.
Man, it's been great, man. It's been a lot of competitive. We got depth. Got the young guys making plays, man. E.T., Manning, Jacob Jordan, I could keep going on and on. But it's just been great, man. A lot of explosive plays out there. Man, it helped tremendously, man. Just having somebody like Mateer and Mike that could just spin the ball anywhere from the pocket, it's a great thing, man. They definitely, Mike, man, he's been playing great, wonderful, man. He's pushing that ball downfield. He's good with his reads. He's accurate, on point. Mateer, he's right behind Mateer looking at him and just taking things from his game, incorporating it to his game. It's a great thing to see.
Deion, how good do you think this offense could realistically be?
Man, it's going to be great, man. I really know it's going to be great. We're going against great defense every day. It's competitive on both sides of the ball. This is going to be great. That's all I can really say.
Are there any differences that you notice in practice, whether it be intensity or scheme-wise, or just what maybe sticks out compared to last year?
Energy. I honestly feel like the energy is there. A lot of players are bought in, and it's just showing just with the plays that's being made.
Deion Burks talking about the excitement level of playing in the offense. Certainly he's going to need to stay on the field, George. Just 5 games last year, 31 receptions, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, all of those coming in the first instance that we were able to see him out on the field. But certainly one of those guys that when you talk about this wide receiver core, I know that there's a lot of question marks, right, with some of the guys that are coming in through the transfer portal. Who's going to be that guy that steps up, whether it be a Zion Kearney or Ivan Carrion? You think of Deion Burks as kind of one of those guys that's a known, right, at the wide receiver position, even though he hasn't really totally done a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's because, look, I can tell you NFL scouts love him. There's a lot of people that think he's going to play in the NFL for a long time. He's not the biggest guy, but certainly has a lot of speed, good route runner, good hands. Like, this is somebody that has somewhat proven it. I know not last year, but at Purdue, he was very productive for a Purdue team that wasn't any good. And so you just wonder, man, you put him in a good offense with a really good quarterback, like, what could he do? And that's why this year is so big for him, because it's kind of a prove-it deal. And there's a lot of speculation that, he could have left for the NFL last year, even despite the injuries, where he could have gone to the portal and got a lot of money. But he was a priority for Oklahoma to keep because they believe he can be a big-time playmaker.
And certainly somebody that could have, as you said, he could have entered the portal. He could have left after the way that everything went down at the wide receiver position a year ago. There was some frustration levels, I'm sure, in having to, basically miss 7-8 games last year because of injury. Here is Deion Burks talking about the kind of the frustrations of 2024 and moving on into this season.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a hard season, I learned from it. Never questioned God and said, why me? But coming back, I learned so much between last year. Just watching, man, I just want to be out there for my guys. Not being able to go out there, man, and not being able to be healthy, man, it hurt me more than anything because I see how my boys work. They work in and out every day. So, yeah, it definitely hurt me, but I learned a lot from it last year.
Deion, does it feel like Arbuckle schemes around stars like you and puts you in positions where you can make big-time plays?
Yeah, but I feel like he has an open offense to where it's like if you're a star, then you're going to shine in this offense. I don't think he really schemes around anybody, but you just know if you got players in this type of offense, man, you'll be explosive in it.
Deion, what's it been like adding Jaden Ott to the offense?
Man, great, man. Like I said, that dude's a long strider, man. He hits the hole, strides get to picking up, but he's a great dude. You could definitely tell he played some ball. Like, you would think he's a 5th year or 4th year type dude, but man, he's great, man. And then in the classroom too as well.
Certainly seems like there's a level of excitement around Deion Burks to see what he can be alongside of John Mateer. Somebody else that battled the injury bug throughout the season last year, Peyton Bowen, talked to reporters on Monday. And George, I find Peyton Bowen to be very interesting, and specifically at that position where it seems like we've talked about Reggie Powers, we talked about him at the end of last week. Where does Peyton Bowen kind of figure into this thing? We haven't talked about him a whole lot.
I think he's going to play quite a bit. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, Reggie Powers is going to start, or, they really like him. And I do think that Reggie Powers is having a great camp, and we've talked about it on here. It feels like he's on that path towards starting. I don't think that necessarily means Peyton Bowen's not going to play. We know Oklahoma has a lot of different schemes, a lot of different rotations. They like to play multiple guys at different spots. I think that in an ideal world, they'd like to have Peyton Bowen and Reggie Powers on the field at the same time. And this is also a good problem to have. And I've also heard, Bowen had a pretty nice scrimmage. I think he's had some nice practices. Like, he's playing well. I think it's just Reggie Powers has made a lot of really flashy plays and has made a huge leap from his freshman year. So that's a really healthy competition. And, talking to Peyton Bowen today, he certainly doesn't sound like someone who's too worried about that right now. I think he just wants to be healthy and have a full season under his belt of being healthy and showing what he can do. So I'm interested. I don't really know if he's going to start or where he's going to play. It sounds like he's mostly playing strong safety right now, and they could move Powers down to cheetah in certain situations. So I do think, though, he's going to play an important role in this defense in some fashion.
Most importantly, you might have said the key word, and it seems like he's healthy for the first time in a while, and it kind of took him a little bit of time to learn that, you can get away with some stuff in high school, right? Yeah. As opposed to, kind of biding your time and taking the injury time and maybe swallowing a little bit of a pill and knowing that you're going to be out an extended period. Yeah. He is healthy, though. Here is Peyton Bowen talking about just flat out being healthy going into 2025.
Man, it feels really good. Like, And like you said, the past couple of seasons I ran into some injury bug. Like that's not something I really ran into in high school and stuff. Like I usually was like healthy to a point, like playing through the bumps and bruises and stuff. But like my senior year, even I had like my hand in my labrum like during my playoff run, and so I kind of learned how to battle through it a little bit. And sometimes there's the battle through it type of injuries, and there's sometimes like you got to sit a little bit. And personally, I'm learning like I've learned throughout the years that sometimes you do have to sit that week and let your body heal. And so now that I know that, like resting that spring was a really good decision for me because I still had my foot lingering and stuff. And so now I feel 100% no icks in there, like whatever you would call it. But I feel really good about how I'm going into the season.
How much, you talked about the injury stuff, how much did that really mess with your confidence? And, I know you guys talk about stacking days on days. How much is that happening now, maybe for the first time since you've been here?
Yeah, I'd say it didn't mess with my confidence as much. It just kind of made me it messed with my confidence while I was injured, I'd say, because in high school I could get away with it. Like, I had the hand, I had the labrum, so like I almost played, like I had to go do like Jonte Cook in high school with a torn labrum and a broken hand, and I have to trust my feet and stuff. And like now that I'm at this higher level, I'm like, dang, like can I really do that with sprained ankle, broken foot, like stuff like that. And so that's where I'd say it messed with my confidence a little bit, but I was still able to go out there and not let my teammates down whenever I was out on that field in whatever shape I was in.
What's the next step for your game to take this season?
I say just stepping up as a leader. I feel like my first couple of years I was kind of like cool with being, the fun guy, like just trying to have fun, all this and that. And so now I'm really stepping into an older guy role, which I don't think I'm that old, but I got to step into that role a little bit and really just mature and be the vocal point in a sense to bring these guys up for practice, walkthroughs, lifts, just be that energy source.
Certainly somebody that has a little bit of maturity and growth, and somebody that we had always talked to, even going back into last year, that maybe his freshman season, and said, damn, that was a really good interview. But it certainly seems like that third year, it's starting to come along. The light's coming on for Peyton Bowen.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot. Third year in the system, it starts to click. I was going to note, Eddie, we saw the punt return there, I think, against Missouri. I do think he may be the starting punt returner this year. We'll see. I know he did it in the scrimmage on Saturday. He also mentioned in the interview today that is something that he would like to do, is punt return or possibly kick return.
Sure.
We'll see what that looks like. I know Isaiah Satania's in the mix there too. Jaden Ott was really good at both those things at Cal. So Torrey Blaylock, I think, is in the mix as well as a true freshman. So we'll see how that plays out, but just something to kind of keep an eye on special teams.
Dropping some special teams bombs on us. I like that. And certainly, if you can flip a game because of a return, you saw it against them, the other side of it last year against LSU.
Yep.
That certainly can play a part, and especially when you get to conference play. It will be interesting to see how much Peyton Bowen is involved there on the back end with Brandon Hall and everybody on the defensive side of the football. Somebody that will be involved is Danny Okoye, and it certainly sounds like, we talked about Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje on Monday, and freshmen coming in and being able to, make instant impacts. Wasn't the case for Danny Okoye, but it certainly seems like as he makes this evolution, and he mentions it here in the clip that we'll show you, going from homeschool football to the most complicated, or one of the most complicated defenses in the country, it does seem like that confidence is starting to build for somebody like a Danny Okoye. He's
the perfect example of a guy that needed that redshirt year, right? Last year, he didn't even play a whole lot of special teams a year ago. He actually redshirted, and I think for Danny that was best because he's a freak athlete, and I think that they would love to have him on the field, but I think he needed that time to kind of really study the defense, understand his role, physically get ready too. Despite some of that athleticism, I think get a little bit bigger as well. And it sounds like that's paying off because I think he had a really good spring. He's starting to really come on in camp. He's a guy that a lot of people are talking about. He had his best practice as a Sooner probably on Friday before the scrimmage. Sounds like he had a pretty good scrimmage too and is pushing for playing time. And that defensive end room, Eddie, you go down the list, and we got to see it come to fruition. We got to see it on the field, right? But you talk about R. Mason Thomas having a great camp. Marvin Jones Jr. is a name that continues to come up. Taylor Wine, obviously all the buzz. He's going to play a lot. And then it's Danny Okoye, PJ. I think PJ's a little banged up, but Danny is playing extremely well right now, Eddie, and I could see him playing a pretty big role and kind of letting him loose this year because I do think he's understanding his assignments a little bit better.
Here is the redshirt freshman Danny Okoye talking about entering his second year and all the expectations that come with this defensive line.
Going good. Seeing a lot of improvement, change since last year. Just trying to stack days and keep the improvement going.
What are some of those specific areas where you feel like you've improved the most since the end of last season?
Definitely just understanding football. Coming from a homeschool team and coming to one of the most complicated defenses in college football, it took a little minute to adjust. But I'm definitely acclimated to the habitat, and I feel like I'm putting things together a little faster.
When did you first start feeling that comfort level?
I feel like I've been stacking days ever since I got here. Of course, wish the process went a little faster. But, I'm just doing what I can, trusting the coaches, trusting the process, and just doing everything I can to get better.
Watching guys like Ethan Downs last year and then R. Mason Thomas even still now kind of helped with that process.
All the experienced guys in the room really give me a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom. Guys like Marvin Jones. We had Ethan last year, Trace Ford and Caden Woolard. Now we have Marvin Jones. All those guys, I kind of look at them as like my big brothers. They give me a lot of, info that I need, and even things like tackle sets and whatever I need just to improve my game and get better, like I said.
Playing for Chavis been kind of everything you thought it would be?
A little more than what I thought it would be, to be honest, but he's a great guy. I love Chavis.
How infectious is just the energy around the program right now? It seems, coming off 2 and 6 and 7 seasons the last 3 years, it seemed like things are down. It seems like things are really positive around here.
Yeah, we've definitely been working and keeping things small. Like I say, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, get rattled by the noise. Just focus on the next day, and whatever we need to do to have the year that we want to have.
Do you feel the expectations that come with this defensive line? It seems like, everywhere you look nationally, people feel like this could be one of the better groups out there.
Yeah, I feel like we have talent everywhere we need to have it. We're definitely very deep in the defensive side of the ball, as well as the offensive side of the ball. We've done a lot of recruiting this year, and we've brought in a lot of good guys, a lot of good talent on special teams, on offense, and on defense. So I'm seeing a lot of good stuff.
Maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, but it certainly seems like, and Danny Okoye is on the list of guys. It's just there's a real excitement to just see some of these guys get out there and play, knowing that if you can get contributions from somebody like a Danny Okoye or whomever you want to throw into that mix of kind of unknowns, who knows? Maybe this team could be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think especially what gets you excited is just the potential for that defensive line. I listed all the names of defensive end. All the names of defensive tackle. Like that to me, Eddie, when you talk about, I think number one is what does this offense look like? But number two for me is how good can this defensive line be? Because I really think that that's where a lot of this confidence in the defense being good this year is they have so many dudes, and you just go down the list, and I'm excited to see, can Danny Okoye really carve out a role for himself? I'm not saying he's going to go out there and be a starter for OU, but I certainly think there's a chance we see him in a lot of different situations this year, where last year just clearly he wasn't ready yet.
And as you said, coming out of Saturday scrimmage, it certainly sounded like that defensive line kind of played up to the expectation level that you would think. And maybe you can change a game with just that group and making everybody's life a little bit easier on the back end in that second and third level defensively. Good time to join SoonerScoop.com. Plenty of preseason coverage that has happened as well as to come here over the next couple of weeks leading up to Oklahoma's August 30th season opener against Illinois State. Just $1 right now. We'll be here. Josh McCuistion's going to join us on Tuesday afternoon, this afternoon. Kind of some big recruiting news possibly out there as well. A couple of decisions ahead for Oklahoma, including Jake Krull, who's expected to make his announcement this afternoon. So we will be here on the SoonerScoop.com as well as the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel covering all of it. It seems like we're kind of in that mix where it's preseason, whatever, but
Season's
there
gonna start
are
soon.
a number of things that are to come
Yeah.
this week and then over the next couple weeks leading into that season opener.
It's crazy. What is it, 18 days?
18 days now, yeah.
It's wild.
It's crazy. All right, for George Stoia, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you back here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel.